Craniosacral therapy is a gentle, hands-on technique that uses a light touch to examine membranes and movement of the fluids in and around the central nervous system. Relieving tension in the central nervous system promotes a feeling of well-being by eliminating pain and boosting health and immunity.
Hey, Cindy, who's your friend here?
This is Sarah Rogers.
What does she do?
She does all kinds of stuff. She does massage and craniosacral. What else do you do?
I'm certified in a lot of different modalities, specializing more in structural.
With the massage?
Yeah.
Cool.
And what have been the reasons that you have visited Sarah in the past?
We've been trading back and forth, and so what she's been helping me with is like my neck and my body and loosening my body up, since my body kind of is frozen most of the time. So it helps a lot to be able to relax my body.
How does it help the trauma, the emotional trauma that you've experienced?
Sometimes it helps bring it up. When your body starts to get relaxed, at least that's what I feel like. It's like my body starts to get relaxed, and then something kind of comes up. Next few days after that, then I'll write things down or whatever. But during the session, sometimes too, things come up, that we want to talk about. And whatever comes up, we can talk, we can not talk, So whatever comes up, it can be physical clearing, and it can be emotional clearing too. So it's helped a lot with the trauma.
Nice. And Sarah, have you experienced many of the healing arts practitioners here in town?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, quite a few.
What do you think?
I think that through my own healing journey, I have found that I had to go very grounded in the techniques that I chose to utilize, things that I could be that were consistent, that were based in something that I found to be scientific and legitimate, and then I could branch out a little bit, but I would come back to those things like structural massage, craniosacral, talk therapies, things of that nature.
Because you're also a massage therapist?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that could help people with their the healing process of trauma, whatever, physical or emotional?
Yes, I think that nurturing, therapeutic, safe touch is very healing. I think most people that are experiencing or have experienced trauma, calming the central nervous system, feeling safe, like allowing that to move, feeling like you're accepted and you can have a safe environment to communicate in is very therapeutic. So yes.
And some people are going to watch this and say, how can I trust the person that I'm going to? Because a lot of times it's not very cheap and it's a lot of money. And what if people think that they can maybe some people even say that they can heal someone, the healers, they call themselves healers. And do you think that they can heal somebody of their emotional traumas?
I think it's a very personal relationship. Like I have found, because I've had to work through some of those things, when I could find a balance. So if I was going to someone that charged what for me was a lot of money, I would have a lot of tension in my body when I would be in that experience. So it wasn't that their therapy wasn't good, it was that it was harder for me to experience. So I had to find things that I could afford and utilize on a regular basis in order to really heal, because I think without consistency, it just doesn't work. So.
What do you think, Cindy, about going to people that say they're healers? What's the most important part about going to people, healers, I guess, that are calling healers? And some may have a certificate or Yeah, they may have a certificate in whatever they're doing, and some may not. What do you think about that?
Well, if what I found is that I'll go to somebody, and if I don't like them, if it, I don't go again. But most everybody has something that has, I wouldn't say healed, but shifted maybe. And some people don't call themselves healers; they call themselves facilitators. But and to be able to know somebody like that knows some, that recommends the person. So if you, you don't want to just go, without knowing the person and involving a lot of money. But if it's just, a small amount of money and you're just trying them out, that's what I've done. I just keep going to different people, trying things out, because that's what I like to do, to see different healing techniques and things like that. And so it's important to know ahead of time that the person is safe and, is recommended by somebody. But if it's a friend, then you know that they're safe. So
How would they be recommended by someone? Or how would someone find, something like that?
Yeah, and I think these days, there's always reviews, different things like that online, but usually, by another friend, or, if you go to a group meeting or something and you ask for some recommendations of someone who does craniosacral or something like that, and people will give you a name that they trust and they feel safe with, and so, yeah.
Wonderful. That's really good. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this, Sarah?
I think, what I wish I understood more of when I was first going, through these experiences, is I had to know what I was actually looking for, and being really clear with my intention going into these different modalities, grounding myself in the healing process of what that actually looks like for me. Like, I wanted clarity of mind, I wanted a healthy body, I wanted to be able to forgive the past, I wanted to be able to, to be very present in my life and be a great parent and a good provider and all of those things. And so finding modalities that support my goals. Like, when people get into topics that are outside of that, they can pull you down rabbit holes. It's like, whether it's aliens or, you know what I mean? Like, all of that stuff. It's like, for me, those might be very real, but they're irrelevant to my goal. So not that I can't hear it, I'm not open to it, because it's not the path that I'm going down. Does that make sense?
That's it makes total sense. But how does someone know, just beginning, how does someone know what their path should be or what it's going to be? So where would someone start in the path? I mean, I guess basically what you're saying is really kind of being self-aware of
which
your
we're not
needs.
when we're in trauma, we're scared.
But that's the problem.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, you're not very self-aware, so how can someone still get help or what direction without going blindly like you did? You know what I mean? And maybe that's the process. You just have to go and try out a whole bunch of stuff and figure out what works for you best and what doesn't, what you're into, what you're not into,
Right. And I think that, like, someone like Cindy was really beneficial for me because it was so truly empowering, supportive, and nurturing, and grounded in everything that she had to offer. And, like, because she's very humble about her techniques, it's like she didn't claim that she was going to fix anything. She was just willing to share what she had. And so when I have someone that comes to me and has that, and I can feel a little bit of desperation, I get, like, very supportive but very clear about what my role is. Like, I'm so grateful to be here to support and help. Like, it sounds like you're going through a lot, and then I will introduce a lot of different people that have things that they share. So, like, there's no misunderstanding that I'm capable of those things, because I'm not. I'm just a tool. And, like, as my process has continued, I realized that, like, Sarah, like me, has these tools. I'm empowered, I'm capable. And I didn't know that when I started, but now I'm starting to understand that everything is just something that I get to use. But at the end of the day, it's about me. And I can only heal so much in a day. I can only, not every technique is going to work. Not everyone is having the best day when I'm there. And so if I get frustrated about, like, what they offer, what they don't offer, it's largely to do with me. So that's really been, like, a big part of me, getting to at least where I am today. Like, owning my own power and being grateful for what other people have to offer.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's really, because it kind of takes us to do the legwork to be able to figure out ultimately who we are, to make us aware of who we are, and that's the whole process. That's part of the process. You can't go to
and our own spirituality, really.
That's
what I think and feel and need is what everybody else does. So
right.
what matters to me is not going to matter to you.
Right.
You
yeah.
know?
Right. Exactly. And I just wanted to say, the easy. And I hate to even use the word easy way, but there is a way that a lot of people, kind of plug into religion that way, to where everything is kind of handed to them and they don't really have to figure things out for themselves. A lot of people do. That's not everybody, but it just seems like that, taking this route takes some effort. And it's not easy. You can't just go to a guru. I mean, can a guru do this for you? Can he or she say, hey, this is what you need. I know what you need. To me, that just doesn't make any sense. I'll say it, whether you guys want to say it or not. But what you said, Sarah, about figuring it out ourselves makes the most sense. And I think that's super cool.
Well, and I found that the people that are compassionate are the people that I've kept. I'm very conscious of the people that I'm communicating with, and I don't take advantage. I intentionally am very clear with the people friends and clients that I work with, because I've been really hurt by that, and I've been vulnerable. Like most of us have at some point, in our process, our journey, our healing journey.
Yeah.
And there was, in the very beginning, I went to an emotion code person, and I paid thousands of dollars or whatever, people all over the world, calling people, just trying to figure this thing out, and it didn't work. And then I think that modality doesn't work. But then I went to therapy and did talk therapy, because that's what my nervous system needed. I needed to communicate through these things. And so that wasn't my solution at that particular time. But then I did an emotion code session a couple weeks ago, and it was very profound. But it was also with somebody that I felt very safe with, and I knew me. So I was already calm. I was already, I felt capable, held, for lack of a better word. So,
going to people without knowing them could be kind of
like fight or flight without realizing.
Yeah, So feeling safe with people. So that's a good thing to know. I recommend that. Make sure you feel comfortable and you feel safe with whoever you're going to. And that's kind of hard to do if you just cold call someone and say, hey, let's have some of your juice. Hopefully it works. But
and you can't say like acupuncture didn't work for me a long time ago, and so I resent acupuncture, but today it could be a great modality.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's awesome. And what do you think?
So to be able to have an intention also.
Yeah.
So if you put the intention out there, I really want to find somebody that's going to help me with my neck, or I really want I want to have somebody come it's going to help me with my emotions. Whatever your intention is, to put that out there. And it's really funny how over the years for myself that people have shown up. It's like, I'm in a little tiny small town somewhere, and somebody shows up right down the street, that I needed. And it also feels like sometimes people have different keys or connections for each other, and that'll be, for a certain amount of time maybe, and then that you're done with whatever you needed to do, and move on to the next person. For myself, I like to, because I had the book and I put all the different healing modalities that I learned. So I kept going to all these different people. And so I learned all kinds of different things and which ones that I wanted to actually do myself. And so, on a low budget, that's, I just kind of get an eclectic style of things. And then, for the people that, are professionals, then I can go and get my neck done. Like, she can help me with my stiffness and things like that. But I can't really, I could do that for myself with emotions and things like that. But sometimes it's easier to go with somebody who can help you with that. So.
And that's another good point is that, is this kind of stuff only for the well-off people who can just throw a bunch of money at their problems and, hope for the best? but and you figured out a way to do it without having a lot of money, which is kind of cool. But what you said before that is having an intention, trusting in something outside of ourselves sometimes is, a pretty good tool also. It can work also. It can bring people into our lives that, who can help us get to where we need to go. It might be small little increments, like you said. That's another thing is that, there's no one person that can probably cure or, any of us completely. So it's really good that, that was mentioned.
And it's up to ourselves to do the healing work. It's, if we're looking for somebody to do it for us, that's not going to work. And so, to be able to know that this person's going to help you help yourself or help you work through something, but you're still doing the work. You're still going to do it. At least, what I found.
Well, right, because it's like I can't. Like you can't give me confidence, but you can create support in a safe environment that can allow me to grow in confidence.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of,
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it's just somebody's energy,
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm lacking in confidence and you've got all kinds of confidence and I go around your energy, then it's just kind of,
contagious.
Yeah, exactly. I can absorb that, confident energy or, however it would be. So
I had a client tell me the other day, and I thought this was so cool, that if you're coming from a wounded place, a victim is always going to attract a perpetrator. And even if it's not actually that person's perpetrating, because we're a victim, we perceive it as somebody, we perceive the energy that way. So it's like if we're looking for someone to heal us, we're always going to be a victim to not getting our needs met in some way. So I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. Just really I can. I don't know if this was all on there, but there was this guy that I wanted because he was a great dad, and he, and I didn't have a good dad. I had daddy issues, okay, so I didn't have a good dad, and I didn't marry a guy that was good to my kids, and so really so I'm going to take advantage of somebody that's not available, right? Because I want that thing that person has, and I'm attracted to that thing, but that's me coming at it from a wounded place, rather than me recognizing that wounded me, God, I had a shit dad and I had a shit husband, and healing that within me so I can be grateful for where that person is, and just use them as an example of what's awesome in the world, and be friends with that person. I don't need to perpetrate on that.
Yeah.
And I was and so my therapist pointed that out to me, and I was like, that's fucking cool, because I really don't want to be somebody that would take advantage of someone that way, because it's never going to go anywhere positive anyway.
Right.
But I did, I allowed myself, that person, to flirt with me and for me to flirt back, and I didn't really understand why I wouldn't let that happen, but as she was kind of pointing it out to me, I was like, wow, yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
And so then I can heal that wound and never do that again, because I can move on.
From a needy point,
Needy.
Instead of a balance point, this person's balanced, that person's balanced, and we're going to come together and be balanced together.
Yeah, so her boyfriend came in the room, my therapist's boyfriend, and he's like, see, this is what it feels like to have a strong, healthy man around you that wants nothing from you. And even though logically I know that, but I don't experience it enough because I'm around so, where there's so many energies that are below that, including myself. So we're all coming from this wounded place. So it's just me healing me, so I don't even pick up on that anymore. And if I do, it's almost instead of allow, because I'll entertain it without even realizing that I'm doing it, because I think that that part of me needs to be seen.
Yeah, the little wounded child.
Yeah, because I'm so disappointed that I married such a jerk. Really, so it's I have to forgive myself and own it, and do my own work on it.
I was getting a memory the other day. I was writing down, and I was 17 and married, and my sister was 6 years older and married, and we were both crying about how jerky our husbands were.
Yeah.
And so for that to come up now, all these years later, my sister has already died, and all this stuff, it's it's still there. That little, not little, it was a big wound, but I'm still healing that wound from when I was 17. and helping my sister maybe clear some energy too, if she's moved on, but to be able to not hang on to that moment in time stuck there that we're sitting there crying about our jerk husbands, to be able to heal from that.
By owning it, owning all the pain, all of the, because it was really sad. I'm sure you it was like, and everything that I did in that time period, that was all part of that event. And so I can let it go and move on because, and I know that I really want this amazing, interdependent, healthy family, because I know that not because other things aren't there, sex, all the things that people talk about, but the love in the family unit, people that are committed to that, it is the most important thing, and because I know if I love my kids and I take great care of them, not only does that bring joy to me and to them when I leave this life, that's going to ripple out and continue. And so even just on a primal level, that is the most important thing, So that's what I want. And if I can't have it, I can have it within me. Yeah. So I don't need a man for that. I can still experience that without that, because that is my intention for me and my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would way rather be alone than not have that.
And to be able to have that energy in you, so then that's there instead of the wounded part, and then you attract it. So, you have this good energy that you attract that instead of and attracting that others.
Even if I attract it in friendships or whatever, because I can remember, I knew that I don't care if you share this or not, but I knew that feeling was real. Because I was like that when I was little. I can remember specifically the day that I stopped believing in that. My mom's on the phone, she's talking shit to her friend about my sister-in-law, and she's putting her down because she's, how could my brother even marry her or be with her or whatever she's saying. And I'm just this little girl who believes in unconditional love. And it was my one caretaker just made that not real, because even the things that she was complaining about weren't worth hurting that woman over. They were just so superficial. And she hadn't done anything to my brother that was harmful. And so I just didn't feel like I could be loved that way. And so I started slowly over time, stop believing in that and letting all those other things into my life, because that thing that I wanted wasn't real anyway. And my mom would say that I wasn't realistic about my expectations. And that would just reinforce that belief that I'm not lovable. There is no such thing, and all of these things, So really healing that wound. So I stopped letting those things in my life, and seeing that my mom was just on the phone with her girlfriend, and it really wasn't any of my business, and she could have been having a bad day.
Talking smack.
Yeah, but that's what it was to me. I mean, it was a really big moment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a lot of those moments, and it's you gotta either write them down or work through them, and it's how many wounded moments do we have to work through? But it's whatever comes up.
Well, yeah, and I was listening to Dr. Gabor Mate, who is my absolute idol, last night, and he was talking about little kids at that age and parenting, and that is pivotal. Kids do interpret information that way. So it wasn't me being wrong or too sensitive or any of the things. It was just my mom not aware that I'm paying attention, and that conversation shouldn't have been had in front of me. Mm-hmm. So I can validate that younger part of myself, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you can send back that love energy to your little girl self, mm-hmm. and that you always wanted. You can send it back and heal that little little girl heart that you had.
Yeah, the other day I was in between massages, and I was I'm hey mom, I don't care if it's just cheesy because it works for me. See, this is what I mean by methods that work for us individually. So I will, because I have to have talk, my nervous system, my mind needs to log, and this is why I think things have to be grounded, because this is just my stuff. So it's I have to say to my mom and myself, I did deserve validation. I have to say it with the right energy, even no negativity. It's I did deserve validation. I'm so sorry that I went through that. And look at her, it wasn't okay. And what I experienced, that pain was real. And then, but I'm an adult now, and I can love myself. I can I can take all that on now. Everything's okay now.
Yeah.
Is that cheesy? That's how I have to work through it.
Yeah, that's about all we can do.
Cindy.
Bring it personal.
Sarah, Thank you very much. Today was wonderful, very insightful. And
For some of your faces.
so until next time. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless then we got like a couple minutes if you want to say something, but I think we said we got really good stuff. All that was really wonderful. So thank you, really. Yeah, really. Two very, very, very insightful women who've got a lot of really good experience. So hopefully that's what I think we were supposed to do, is just kind of meditate on the fact that hopefully this gets to people who need to see it, because there's a lot of people out there searching, and it may help them, to not be as lost as we were. I mean, I remember my search, and I had to do it myself, I just have to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. And, little kernels that I found along the way, helped me in that. And hopefully this can be a kernel for someone, so cool.
Yep.
All righty. That's it. We're shutting them down. That's what you guys.
Yeah.
And you said kernel.
Oh no, I didn't say